Hi, everyone. Did you know that the single most powerful manifestation portal for manifesting your goals, dreams, and desires is happening this December 19th, 3:42 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the new moon? Lotus dawn here with Blossom with the stars, truly actual stars, sidereal astrology. I was just on here but had some technical errors, so hopefully you've jumped back on with me because I have such exciting information to share with all of you, and I'm really excited that you're here joining me tonight. So, why is this new moon time the single most powerful manifestation window of the entire year? Well, it has to do with something called the Galactic Center. How many of you have ever heard of the Galactic Center and know what that is? Yeah, go ahead and put it in the chat if you've heard about the Galactic Center. It's really, really incredible. So what it is, and I'll just show you, I'll share screen. The Galactic Center is located in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and it is home, some say it's home, to 4 supermassive black holes. And it's so interesting that the sun is literally lining up with the Galactic Center right leading up to the holidays, right? The Christmas spirit, the time, I always think of the holidays. I love this time of year. How many of you out there love this time of year? Up here, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, the time of Christmas, the time of, when I think about, write your letter to Santa, ask Santa for what you want, and you can have it, right? You can manifest whatever you want. Just write that letter and you can have it. And I remember as a child thinking, gosh, that's so cool. I want to have a bike. I want to have a guitar. I want to have, all these different things. And it was such an exciting time of year because it felt like, oh my gosh, anything I asked for, I can have it, right? And so I wanted to tell you all. And growing up, I remember the moment when I realized that Santa Claus was actually my parents, writing Santa's name and putting the present under the tree. Although my dad did some really cool things. Like one year when I was like 3 years old, he actually got up on the roof and he had bells and he was clomping around on the top of the roof. And I remember being in my little bed, I think I was 2 years old, thinking, oh my God, Santa is on the roof. And it was like the most exciting feeling I've ever had in my life. I just remember going to bed feeling so excited because the idea that we can ask for whatever we want and it will come, that we will have it. Doesn't that remind you of the law of attraction? And so I was really excited as an adult to realize that the energy of Santa Claus, the energy of being able to ask for what you want and have it manifest is actually real. And so tonight I want to share with you why December 19th opens the portal. It'll be 10 days after December 19th, 10 days before and 10 days after, when we are aligning to, we could call it the Santa Claus point of the galaxy, the Galactic Center. Why is it so powerful? Well, we have to go back to the idea that every moon cycle is actually a creative manifestation cycle. How many of you know that the new moon is actually the single most powerful time to set your intentions? And the reason for this is at the new moon time, it's the most black. There's no light. It has the least radiation. It has the least distraction. It has the least impact on our ability to set intentions. And actually, farmers have known this for thousands of years, and they only plant specific things at the time of the new moon because they know it's going to grow really well, right? And so you can think of the new moon time as the most yin time of the monthly cycle. Are you familiar with what yin means? So you guys familiar with the yin and the yang? Well, the yin and the yang is a Chinese principle. Yin relates to the most dark, cold, feminine, yin energy. The most yang represents the most hot, the most active, the most masculine energy. And so you can actually relate the new moon time to the winter, if you will, when it's darkest and it's coldest. And you can relate the full moon time to the high point of summer as the most heat. And right now we are approaching the solstice, when there is the least amount of light in the northern hemisphere and the most amount of light in the southern. And it's very interesting that at the time of the year, the northern hemisphere is in the greatest dark, is also the time of the year when the sun, which represents our soul, it represents our purpose, it represents why we are here, enters into the most powerful manifestation, galactic activation zone of the entire year. And that is because the sun is lining up right now with the golden gate of creation, right here as the sun is in Ophiuchus, lining up to the galactic center. And at the new moon time, this coming December 19th, is when the sun will be exactly conjunct the entrance to the galactic center. And so what is the galactic center? Why is it so important? Well, it's very interesting. You know, many of the ancient gurus, teachers, and seekers we come and connect to very deeply at the time of the solstice, at the time of Christmas. It's a very spiritual time of year. And it is also, incidentally, the time of the year when the sun and the moon line up at the new moon in Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus being the guardian of the galactic center, representing the energy of the shaman, the mystic, the ancient holder of secrets. Okay? And here we are, we're lining up the sun, the moon, Venus, lining up all with the galactic center, which some say is home to 4 million supermassive black holes. Other people say that it's actually home to 118-minute pulse from the galactic center. I'll get into that on Thursday. And it's just the most powerful center of the entire galaxy. You could say it's the most yin, and that there's immense energy here that actually leads to me calling it the womb of creation. And so we are lining up to the womb of creation, December 19th, new moon. And so my partner and I decided to put together an event to help to assist everyone to line up to this energy. So it's going to start December 18th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I actually have a really special offer tonight that the first person to comment, yes, I want to join, you will get a free pass to come to this event, to my astrological energy update, where you can find out where, I'm going to take off this hat, where this new moon, the sun, the moon, and Venus will all be lined up in Ophiuchus. And so if you enter into the chat now, or you come across this video later, the first person to enter, yes, I want to join, I'm going to give you a free pass. This is an event that is free for our Energy Clearing Mastery members. We have a monthly clearing membership that people are in. It's very inexpensive. But if you would like to join that, you can also comment, I want to join your membership, and put that there. You get amazing benefits. I'll leave the link in the description of what you get when you join that membership. But this coming Thursday, December 18th, I'm going to be going deeper with this live astrological information, and I'm going to be able to tell you what area of your astrology chart this new moon will be activating. Will it be activating your 10th house of career and purpose? Will it be activating your 7th house of relationships, of marriage, of love? Will it be activating your 2nd house of finances? And so wherever the new moon lining up with the galactic center is so powerful. So if it's in your 1st house, this is the most powerful time to set your intentions for yourself, for your identity, for what you're wanting to create. If it's in your 2nd house, which is the house of finances and money and wealth, oh my gosh, you want to be dream building like crazy about what kind of money and how you're going to make the money and what you're going to do with the money when it comes in. If it's in the fifth house of children and fun, you're going to really want to think about, okay, what do I love to do? What are my hobbies? And you're going to have so much energy and so much power to create that going forwards. And it's really amazing because the moon will be in Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. And it's just so amazing how the correlation between Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, and Jesus, which is the birth date that we're going into. And why do I say that? You know, it's very interesting in this connection between Jesus and having these miraculous gifts, and Santa Claus is also very interesting. And so here we are, we're standing at the womb of creation as the sun and the moon approach alignment to the galactic center. And there's actually a very deep connection between Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, the guardian of the galactic center, the great mystery, the sacred mysteries of Ophiuchus, and Jesus, the great teacher whose birthday we are approaching. And so why do I say this? Okay, so let me share with you why I say this, because most people are going, okay, what do you mean Ophiuchus and Jesus? Or maybe you already knew about that, I'm not sure. Well, there's a lot of corollaries between the 13th sign of Ophiuchus and the Greek mythological story that he was named after. So I'm going to share the story of Ophiuchus, how he got the name, and why on earth do I say that Ophiuchus is related to the 13th, to Jesus. Okay, let me just share screen. Give me just a moment here. Okay, there we go. Here. All right, how you guys doing out there? YouTube land, across the world, across the universe. Okay, so here is the story of Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. And I remember when I first heard about this and started to make the connection between Ophiuchus and Jesus, and I was really blown away by this. And so sit back, relax, get comfortable as I tell the story of Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, which is where the moon will be at the new moon, conjunct the galactic center, the most powerful manifestation portal of 2025. So let's get ready. So Apollo was known as the god of the sun, and Apollo was the father of Asclepius. Asclepius was the Greek name for the man who was a half immortal, and Coronis, his mother. She died, and he was put into the care of Chiron to raise him. He became an incredibly learned, successful healer. He knew all of the magic of the herbs and the healing that went with them. And so he traveled the land, learning and sharing his gifts of healing. They actually still have temples that are still standing to this day named after him. And he walked with his great staff across ancient Greece. And one day he came across a snake. And that snake was dangerous, and so he hit it with his walking stick and accidentally killed it. He thought, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. But to his surprise, another snake came, walking, slithering, and gave the snake that had died some herbs. To Asclepius' surprise, and again, Asclepius is the name that Ophiuchus got its name, and I'll tell you in just a moment. And so Asclepius asked the snake, how did you bring your friend back to life? Of course, the snake answered, because this of course is a Greek tale. And he said, I used some herbs. And so he taught Asclepius how to bring people back from the dead. And so Asclepius learned the secrets of healing from the snake. And he learned the herbs that could help heal the sick. This got him into a whole heap of trouble with the ancient gods, the ancient Greek gods, who said, especially Hades, the god of the underworld, because he said, if you keep bringing people back from the dead, I'm not going to have anyone left down here in my lower kingdoms. And so Jupiter, the king of the gods, also what I call the cosmic Santa Claus, energy of abundance and just that energy of hugeness, took a lightning bolt and killed Asclepius. And so I want to ask you now, when you think about Jesus and you think about the story of Asclepius, okay, they have a couple of similarities here. First of all, Asclepius was the son of the sun, just like Jesus, the Son of God. Asclepius also learned the sacred, secret, ancient mysteries of how to bring people back from the dead, just like Jesus had the ability to bring people back from the dead. And so it's so interesting to me that then they both were killed because of their abilities to bring people back from the dead. And it's really interesting because to this day, you guys familiar with the Hippocratic Oath? In the Hippocratic Oath, it says, I swear by Apollo the physician, who was the father of Asclepius, and health, and all heal, and all the gods and goddesses, that according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath and stipulation. Okay, and so to this day, the Hippocratic Oath uses the name Asclepius, which is the name that Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, was named after. And what does Ophiuchus mean? Ophiuchus means the snake tamer. Okay? And so Ophiuchus was actually cut off of the constellational wheel during the time of the Babylonians. Interesting. And what does Ophiuchus represent? Ophiuchus represents the ancient mysteries of healing, of energy alchemy, of miracles, being able to create miracles, being able to confront the dark side, the shadow side, and to bring people back from the dead. And so very interesting that this sign, Ophiuchus, which Asclepius became, is aligning with the galactic center, the most powerful point of manifestation of creation of the entire galaxy, this coming December 19th, 3:42 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you would like to join my partner and I, we're doing a live astrological event, energy clearing, intention setting workshop. And so we will be assisting you. I've got to have my partner on this channel. He is amazing. He actually has Ophiuchus rising, and he is very tapped into energy mastery. And his ability to test and tune into the group to see what needs to be cleared is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. We've had live events where someone got on who she comes back after the call. She says, I manifested $360,000 after this event. So if you guys want to come and tune in to the most sacred, secret portal of manifestation that there is, this happens every year when the sun aligns with the galactic center. So put it on your calendar. It is the most powerful time to set intentions. It's the most powerful time to set your intention for what it is that you want to create. Okay? So be tuning into what that is. And at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard, before he goes on to do the energy clearing work around what's in the way of you manifesting that, I will be taking your astrology charts and tuning into where does this galactic activation land. And I don't know how familiar you are with astrology charts, but they're divided into 12 equal sections, and each section represents an area or arena of your life. So the first section, or the first house, represents your identity. It represents yourself. It represents who you are. The second house relates to finances or wealth or money. And so depending on which house or segment the new moon will be impacting or aligning to. So let me explain. Like if you have Sagittarius rising, for instance, that would put Ophiuchus into your 12th house of your psychic abilities, psychic knowledge, your meditative ability, your ability to go within. And so this new moon would mean that it would be activating that potential, and it'd be a really powerful time to set intentions for your connection to source, to God, to spirit, to going within. Okay. If you have Ophiuchus landing in your second house of wealth and finances, that means that you would have Scorpio or Libra rising. Okay. And so that means that Ophiuchus in your second house, gosh, this new moon is all about setting intentions for wealth. And not only is this a powerful time for manifestation, but we also have, gosh, Venus, the billionaire planet, actually opposing Rigel, which is the billionaire star. You guys familiar with Rigel? Have you ever heard about that? I've actually done a lot of calls. I should probably do one on Rigel. And so Rigel is the billionaire star. And at the new moon, it's going to be directly opposite Venus. Venus, of course, is the billionaire star. I mean, the billionaire planet. And so the billionaire star and Venus are going to be totally opposite at the new moon, which means that the connection, our ability to connect to great wealth. You guys, I actually looked at Andrew Carnegie, who is one of the wealthiest men of history's charts, and he has this in his chart. Now, the only issue is that the sun is currently combust, and what you may never have heard about this. The sun is currently combust Venus, the billionaire planet. And so at the new moon time, the sun's illumination is shining really, really closely to Venus. And I'll show you a picture of the actual sky. And the fact that they're so close is problematic because the heat of the sun and the light of the sun actually causes our opportunities to get burned up. It causes challenges in manifesting wealth. And here we go. We have the sun in Ophiuchus right now in the sign of the snake tamer. Combust Venus, and it's going to be like this for until February, y'all. And so if you're having financial challenges, one of the reasons you could be having them is because the light of the sun is deeply illuminating Ophiuchus, the 13th sign, Venus and Ophiuchus. And so what might that mean? Well, Venus and Ophiuchus relates to having talents and abilities that are not mainstream at all. And it relates to having ways of making money that are very unusual. For instance, are you an energy healer? Are you a transformational coach? Are you a teacher? Do you teach or give light language transmission? Venus and Ophiuchus relates to a time when your sacred gifts and abilities are being called out. And so if you have these sacred gifts or abilities, and chances are if you came across my channel, you do, because I only attract people who have gifts and abilities, who are tuned into something beyond just the mind. And so when Venus is in Ophiuchus, we are literally being asked, hey, are we really here doing our gifts and sharing them with the world? Are we really allowing ourselves to make money doing it? And so if you're just doing a normal job, but you have sacred gifts and abilities, Venus and Ophiuchus, Combust the Sun, might be saying, hey, time out. Your normal way of creating finances, it's time to expand. You need to get bigger. You need to expand more. Next year is the year of the fire horse. And it's the year of one. It's the year of new beginnings, independence, shining. And so we're really being asked to step into a greater beingness with money, a greater havingness with money. And it's almost like as we confront the past life traumas and fears and persecution we experienced that could be blocking our ability to live our truth and share our gifts with the world and make tremendous wealth and income. This is a time when we're being asked to confront that and those wounds. And so I really invite you to join us for our live event happening on December 18th, because we're going to be clearing this stuff. We're going to be tapping into what is in the way of my abundance, what is in the way of my wealth, and we had a wealth energy clearing call last Sunday. And one of the big traumas we looked at was like, okay, let's imagine that you could have all the wealth in the world. Let's imagine you could have Andrew Carnegie level wealth. And I think that's so beautiful because so many of you out here really want to have big wealth, not just for yourself, but you have this big dream and vision of how you want to help the world. And I think that's so beautiful. And my mom growing up, she always had this vision of creating something called home base. And she really wanted to assist homeless people and people who are out on the streets to always have shelter, to always have food, to always be cared for. And so, what is your big vision? What would you do with big, big wealth, because Venus opposite Rigel at the time of this new moon is asking us, what's our big vision? If we could have that money, what would we do? What would we create? And then the question then becomes, when we think about having that really big, big money, do we get triggered? Do we feel happy and free and comfortable, or do we feel fearful? And what I noticed when the group and I tuned into having really big, major wealth was it was actually really scary. Like a lot of people felt terror, so is that you? And so the question becomes, what lifetime, how many lifetimes did you live where you saw people get killed or hurt or injured if they had lots of money? We had one participant on our last call who had royalty, right? His family members had been royal, and one of them had killed the other in line to the throne. And so when he thought about being wealthy, he felt terror, he felt fear, he felt sadness, he felt grief. And so in order for us to get out of the old story, out of the old wounds, which is what Sun Combust Venus in Ophiuchus is asking us to confront, energy work is so important right now. Energy clearing, whatever that is, whether that's you go and you watch a Reiki video and you think about, okay, what past life trauma do I have in the way of me manifesting big wealth? Or whether that's you come to our new moon intention setting energy clearing call on Thursday, December 18th, whatever that is. Find something, because that is what Sun opposite or Sun with Venus being combust is asking us to do. It's bringing the greatest light. You could think of Ophiuchus as both being the greatest potential for creating wealth, right? As you tap into your sacred, secret healing abilities and powers. And it's also potentially the most challenging, because if you think about Jesus, you think about the connection between Ophiuchus and Jesus, someone who had amazing abilities, talents and gifts, who was then persecuted and killed for having these abilities. And so it's a very big topic. Some people call this the witch wound. You can think of Ophiuchus as being like the sage, being like the witch, being like the magician or the shaman. And so how many of us out there have been shamans, witches, sages, people who worked with medicine, who worked with herbs, who worked with healing energy, and we were persecuted. We were persecuted for those gifts. And so there's so much trauma living in our energy fields, in our chakras, in our dantians, in our meridians, around actually truly and fully stepping into our gifts. And you see me here on YouTube sharing and talking about information, but I have faced so much inner resistance and fear and terror almost every time I've gotten on the microphone to go out there, because I myself have so many memories of being persecuted, of being burned at the stake, of being crucified for going out and sharing my gifts and my abilities. And the energy work, the years of deep energy work I have had to do to confront, to face, and to heal these layers so that I can get in here and on this channel and I can get on this microphone and share the truth with you all has been such an intense journey. And I'm also so grateful for it as I sit here at the end of this numerological year of 9, which has been all about shedding the layers and shedding the skin in this year of the snake. So much has been let go. And so if you're sitting here at the end of 2025 being like, what the heck happened? You're not alone. It's been a year of major transformation and letting go. But the good news is that next year is the year of 1. It's the year of the fire horse. There's just new energy coming in. And I think that I know that this new moon happening on December 19th really is the spark. It's the real spark as we align to the galactic center, the womb of creation, that amazing galactic center. This energy, y'all, really tune into it. Take some time to just ask yourself, do I feel a unique energy here? And this energy is so potent. I remember when I first started tuning into it, I really got the sense that we were being given access to sometimes I think about it as like a library of sacred information of like who we are and where we come from and where we're headed. And so if you do meditation, if you do prayer, this is a great time to just get in touch with your inner self, with your higher self, with the light and the guidance, and just realize there's a reason we have all these stories of Santa Claus, these stories of Jesus, because it's real. There is an energy here that we're tapping into. And we do have the power to create our reality, and we do have the power to ask, and it is given. And so I really want to invite you as we head into this new moon energy to start tuning into, what do I want to create? If I could be, do, or have anything in this world, what would it be? How would it feel to have it? And just notice, okay, maybe there's fears, maybe there's doubts, maybe there's anxieties, maybe I don't believe it's possible, but could I allow myself to dream? Could I allow myself to imagine? Could I allow myself to just play with the idea that I could have, that I could be, that I could do the thing that I wish for? And if you need help with the energy clearing of what's in the way of that, come join us December 18th. Book a personal session with me. My rates are going to be going up in 2026. So go to my website now, blossomwithlotus.com, and you can still purchase one-on-one sessions at my lower rates. It's time for us as we go into 2026 to reclaim who we are and to reclaim the gifts of who we are, and to realize that as we tap into this galactic center energy, which they call the golden gate of creation, that we have incredible power to create anything that we want in our life, that our dreams, our goals, our desires are coming true. They can come true. And that the great guides and teachers, the ascended masters and the beings in love and light are watching out for you, watching over you, and they are ready to guide you. All you have to do is ask, right? Just like we wrote Santa Claus a letter saying, "Dear Santa, for Christmas, I would like to have." I invite you to tap into the energy of Santa Claus and know that it's real. But maybe it wasn't this big jolly guy. Maybe it was more this connection to the galactic center. And write down, "Dear Santa, for Christmas this year, or for 2026 this year, I would like to have." And again, remember, the first person to write, "Yes, I want to joy," you get a free pass to come to my live astrological workshop on December 18th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I send you so much love, so much light and gratitude. Remember, you are so powerful, and we are all so connected to this incredible energy that is pouring. It is free. It is pouring forth from the Galactic Center right now. All you have to do is tune into it, breathe, and feel it real. Biggest love from you all. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you there. Oh my gosh, Jerry, welcome. Yes, I will be there. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So excited. It's such an honor to share with you all this work. And I really recognize you all. I feel like you are all like these bright lit up candles across the world, like lighthouses, lighting up the world with your beautiful light, your beautiful soul presence, your beautiful energy. And that when we get on here on YouTube, we get to connect for just a moment and realize we're not alone. We are this beautiful blessing on this planet. So sending you all biggest love and biggest light from my heart. As they say in Hawaii, this sacred phrase, and what does it mean? It means the recognition that we share the same breath. Oneness. Aloha.